Hello, my name is Leonardo Lopez, and I'm the project manager for Group 5. This presentation is on project leveling. Team members are Sankrith Cody, Ashman, Rahat, Victoria, Mark, Hussein, and myself. Resource leveling. Resource leveling refers to a resource management technique that enables the utilization of worker availability with newly scheduled non-critical activities that have available slack time. This process helps optimize the use of an existing workforce to determine if more or less workers should be utilized with the goal of balancing the demand for resources with the available supply. By utilizing project techniques such as resource leveling, we can improve costs over the life of the project. So illustration one shows slack or non-critical activities that have available slack time. So you can see the slack time on the right, and the non-critical activities are the blue bars. Resource loading. The initial step was to load planned manpower with standard and overtime rates. The first problem is an allocation issue where we may have too much or too little workforce, resulting on overworked or underworked personnel. By balancing the resource supply and demand, personnel will work near capacity while reducing turnover and excess training. This results in a reduction in costs. So illustration two shows when I initially loaded personnel onto the project, I was understaffed. So um, in this case, we added um, additional technicians and engineers to lower the peak of each of these workforce. So as you can see, the highest workforce here, the highest peak was 700. So we must first take into consideration the original project budget and overall schedule time constraint. In our case, we ensure the project dates are set and we attempt to slightly increase manpower within budget limits and assuming we have the resources available. We level resources and check for an even workload near capacity. So illustration three shows a more even workload. So we have more technicians, more engineers, and the peak percentage is more even across the entire project. Illustration four shows a comparison of initial project cost versus reduced cost due to leveling and a reduced workforce. So, so this leveling is was more of a continued as I leveled the project, uh, changes to the costs uh, were a part of the results. So 154,720 was actually already a reduced cost. So the initial leveling is usually the biggest cost savings, and it can be a lot more than just $12,000. After checking for worker resource usage, we can determine if we're able to remove personnel from the resource sheet and attempt to level the schedule again to see if we can meet the required man hours without over allocating workforce personnel. By doing this, we can reach a point where PM software will either begin over allocating personnel or continue to be overstaffed. Illustration five shows resource usage. And in this case, the first column shows workforce allocation up to 48 hours for 2 weeks. So this case, right, this scenario right here, we are overstaffed. And so that's why we either remove personnel or add personnel to attempt to reach a point where we're near capacity. But we don't want to be overstaffed and we don't want to be understaffed because both have costs, excess costs associated with them. So this is the original schedule that's leveled. This is a Gantt chart, and it shows the tasks with the associated resources. the workforce. And again, this is the original schedule leveled. And you can see right here also that some of these tasks are broken up into parts, and these are the non-critical activities. And this is how the the entire project uh, gets a cost savings, is because the tasks are broken up into parts to better fit the man hours available by the workforce. So this is the same, but this is for the crash schedule, and this is leveled. And this right here is the leveled comparison. So to the top left, original 87-day schedule, unleveled budget. So these numbers came from assignment 4. So these are the original numbers. And the total budget came out to 367,475.42. So running that through PM software and leveling it, that gets reduced to a total of 192,240. And so that's a significant cost cut. And so for the crashed project, we have a 66-day schedule, crashed unleveled cost totaling up to 415,388.82. And leveling that totals to 220,618.34. So again, the cost savings are very similar. They're both near 50%. So the project cost comparison indicates that the leveled cost of the original schedule can be reduced up to 48% due to optimized use of workforce resources from resource leveling. Similarly, the cost of a 66-day crash schedule can be reduced by 47%. So modifications can be made to revert to a 32-day crash based on current project demands and resource availability. But for the current schedule, as is, the schedule can be crashed by 21 days and can be improved through leveling. This crash and cost improvement results in an overall addition, a net change of 28,378.34. So this includes indirect costs, contingencies, and assuming no delays. Thank you.